What's going on, Ravens fans? Welcome into the Baltimore Ravens Rundown. My name is Joey Petersen. Coming up on today's show, we're going to take a look at an ESPN article released yesterday as they did their way too early power rankings for the 2026 season. And with those power rankings, they gave each and every team a three-word description for that team's offseason. And I'll tell you this, where they have Baltimore in this power ranking, it might surprise you, and at least to me, I feel like that sends a powerful message to Jesse Minter, Lamar Jackson, and the Ravens going forward through this offseason. You want the Ravens to win the Super Bowl next year? If you do, smash that thumbs up button, like today's video. Don't jinx it, okay? Let's start this season off, this offseason that is, on a good note. Hit that like button. So the top 10. Seattle, New England, Los Angeles, Denver, Buffalo, San Fran, Detroit, Philly, Jacksonville, and Green Bay. Nowhere in that top 10 do you see the Baltimore Ravens. In fact, you have to go all the way to number 14, barely top half of the league in the ESPN Power Rankings to find your Baltimore Ravens behind the Chicago Bears, the Kansas City Chiefs, and yes, the Houston Texans. First off, I kind of feel like this is pretty ridiculous by ESPN. I get it. You're going through a coaching change, but I believe if you saw Mike McDonald's defense on Sunday night, bringing in Jesse Minter, who has that same defensive scheme and has that same defensive prowess, I feel like you got to believe they're heading into the right direction. And it's just so, what's the term? Recency bias. That's what I'm looking for. This team consistently won anywhere from 12 to 14 games, 11 to 14 games with a healthy Lamar Jackson over the last half decade. And now they don't. He wasn't healthy, by the way, missed 4 games, and you have him all the way down to 14. I think it's a little bit insane, and I think at some point, probably halfway through next season, we'll look back and be like, man, that was a little bit of an overreaction, a little bit of an overcorrection. The second part of it, though, is I don't hate this. We came into last year all summer long. I'm not talking about a Kid Rock song. All summer long, all you were hearing was this team was going to win the Super Bowl. Top 3 Super Bowl odds. It's them, or the Bills, or the Lions. And now you're sitting here, number 14 in the power rankings. Not a bad spot to be, because now you got that attitude of, okay, let's go ahead and prove everybody wrong. Where would you have them, power ranked? Fill in the blank for me. Ravens are the blank best team in the NFL. Prove it to me down below in the comments section. Let's get to those 3 words that ESPN gave for the Baltimore Ravens. It is, and I quote, all about Lamar. And I do not necessarily agree. Baltimore's priority is reaching a new contract with Lamar Jackson, says ESPN, and getting the 2-time NFL MVP back on track on the field. The first issue is reducing Jackson's $74.5 million salary cap number, and owner Steve Bisciotti spoke to Jackson about the urgency to create more cap room before the start of free agency. Then, Baltimore's new coaching staff will look to build a scheme around Jackson, who's coming off of 2,549 passing yards and 21 touchdowns, both of which are his lowest since 2022. The good news, Jackson has won NFL MVP the past 2 times Baltimore hired a new offensive coordinator. Right, now this one, if you watched yesterday's show at all, yesterday morning's show, we talked about how important, how imperative it is to get to a contract extension with Lamar Jackson for multiple reasons. Number 1, I am of the firm belief that you will always go as far as Lamar Jackson goes. The Baltimore Ravens will go as far as Lamar Jackson goes. Now, would I love to be at a spot where you have a defense as elite as Seattle's was that could take away the football like Seattle's could? Right? Because that's the thing about the 2023 Ravens. That defense was elite, man, but in the postseason, they couldn't take the football away. So you put your offense never really in the most advantageous positions. I'm not saying the defense is why they lost to the Chiefs back in 2023. But I still am a firm believer that you're going to go where Lamar Jackson takes you, especially in year 1 with Jesse. Okay? You could argue that there might be a difference in this, year 2, year 3, year 4. But, there are still so many defensive holes in this roster that I'm confident by just getting Jesse Minter in the building, you're going to be a better football team. You're going to play a lot better football. But on the flip side of that, I think it'll take a while to be looked at as a top 5 defense in the league. And then there's the money aspect of everything, which is ultimately, in my opinion, what this all boils down to. The fact that he's going into this year with a $74.65 million cap hit. He's going into 2027 with a $74.65 million cap hit. Hell, his cap hit was decently high in 2025 at $43.65, but this makes it look like it's chump change. If you want to fill those holes in the roster, on the defensive line, on the offensive line, in the secondary, maybe add another wide receiver, you can't have your quarterback taking up almost $75 million in cap space. And Buffalo, like we discussed yesterday, gave you the perfect blueprint for you. This should and could be so simple. Now, it rarely is in the National Football League, and last time you came to an extension with Lamar Jackson, it was not simple then either. But, Buffalo has shown you exactly what this needs to look like. Just follow this exact formula. Maybe throw $1 million on the average, $10 million onto the guaranteed. Who cares? Not my money. Would you pay Lamar Jackson $55 million a year? Let me know your answer down below in the comment section. Give me a yes or a no. I personally would do it without thinking, but let me know what you guys would do. I'll tell you what you guys should do. Check out our friends over at Ethos. They are the proud sponsor of today's show. And as you know, my wife, Kennedy, and I got married almost 2 years ago. I imagine we'll buy a house, maybe start having kids sometime soon. If something were to happen to me, the last thing I want the people I love to worry about is being able to pay the bills. So I trust Ethos to keep them protected. After watching someone close to me go through loss, I saw how quickly grief can turn into financial stress. That experience changed how I think about protecting my family. Life insurance isn't about expecting the worst, but it's about making sure the people you love are supported no matter what. That's why I recommend life insurance through Ethos. Ethos makes getting life insurance fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. Application times, of course, may vary. Did you know that as of March 2025, Business Insider named Ethos the #1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider? Ethos has 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot with over 3,000 reviews. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos now by going to ethos.com/NFL Daily. In as little as 10 minutes, you can get your free quote and up to $3 million in coverage at ethos.com/NFL Daily. Application times and rates may vary. So we saw the ESPN power rankings. I did think it was interesting that the Super Bowl odds via the betting websites still have Baltimore up there close to the top. They are, in fact, tied for 4th with the Philadelphia Eagles, New England Patriots, and, of course, there they are, the Baltimore Ravens. Behind Seattle at plus 950, Los Angeles at plus 950, Buffalo at plus 1100, and then you'll get to Baltimore. My steps to a Super Bowl. Right? This is like my mini perfect offseason. We already hit that video after Jesse Minter was hired. Now, or excuse me, after John Harbaugh was fired, I believe. Number 1, I think you got to re-sign Tyler Linderbaum. I've spoken about this nauseum over the offseason. You have a question mark at right guard. You have a question mark at left guard. You don't want to have a question mark at center. And if you let Tyler Linderbaum get to free agency, he's gone. The Giants are going to outbid you. Other teams are going to outbid you. Get him locked down and get that locked down soon. Number 2, go ahead and get yourself a nice little rotational depth piece in the interior of the defensive line. Go ahead, sign John Franklin Myers. I think he'd pair wonderfully with Jesse Minter, Anthony Weaver on the defensive side of the football. Let's keep adding to the defensive line. How about it? How about we sign Jalen Phillips, a guy who can give you consistent pressure off the edge. And if you want to re-sign Draymond Jones instead, sure, you can do that as well. Number 4, what we talked about last night. Let's make a splash. Let's do something big. Let's trade for Max Crosby, man. Let's do that. Now, if they do that, they won't be able to do number 5, which is what I'm just now realizing as we're getting down to it. Well, let's say they don't trade for Max Crosby. They just do these top three things. I think you got to draft Vega Ioane, offensive guard out of Penn State. This dude is really, really special. Watching the tape, watching the film, he jumps off of the screen. And what I notice most is he's just aggressive. And I think my favorite thing about him is he's athletic. And I think that's what Daniel Fa'alele was missing. He wasn't that great of an athlete. Now, it's hard to believe that these dudes who are 6'6", 345 pounds, can be great athletes, but they can. And if you don't believe it, then just go ahead and watch Ioane. That's going to do it for today's show. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. And we appreciate each and every one of you guys. We'll be back later with another video. Of course, tomorrow we got our live show. Make sure you got us locked in with those notifications on.